Number one, how did you become just in love with football that led you to all these steps in your life that we'll get into?
Oh boy. I don't know. I love sports. I played sports, but I loved football when I started to watch it, which was right around when Mike started to play. Actually, that's the earliest I remember. Uh, my dad got me a copy of the Evening Bulletin, which was the local Philadelphia paper. I started reading that at about 8 years old. The
Mm.
sports section religiously every day. Ray Didinger, who you may know the name, was the local beat writer for the Eagles when Mike started to play, and I read him every day, and started to watch football on television and became an Eagles fan. I mean, I was actually a Cowboys fan early on when I first started to follow
What?
football because they were on TV all the time, and they were playing the Packers. Played the Packers every year, as we know, the championship game and lost. And my dad was not a football fan at all, so I wasn't raised very well. I had to figure that out on my own. By the time I was, 9 or 10, I realized, hey, wait a minute, there's a local team. Let's start following them. And I became a huge Eagles fan. And I actually knew, a little story when I was working at NFL Films for Steve Sable. And a girl came in and I saw her coming down the hall. She started to work for the company. And Steve, pointed her out. Said, that's Kate Evans. I said, who's that? New producer. She says, Kate Evans. And I looked at her and I said to Steve, I said, any relation to Mike Evans? And he just looked at me and said, are you kidding me? Like, do you know who Mike Evans is? I said, I absolutely know. He's number 59 starting center for the Eagles, like 1968. And Steve thought I was crazy. And he said, well, actually, it's his daughter. And that's a funny story that Steve always used to tell.
And then now,
Yeah, and we got married. I met Kate there. She left to work as a producer for NBC Sports, and then we eventually got married. But yeah, I just started watching football from an early age. I didn't play high school football because I went to a technical high school for computers. It was one of the only ones in the country at the time, and they didn't have a football team. So I didn't play high school football, but I played in rough touch leagues. I played a lot of football on sandlots till my first wife pretty much said, hey, we got to. Once I started having kids, I had to stop playing football because people were getting hurt too much. But anyway, I love football, always followed it. And then, of course, took a job at NFL Films, which got me obviously even a lot more involved at a kind of a grassroots level and a production level with football.
Yeah. When did you start at NFL Films? Because that is an entity that has grown from Steve Sable's, little hobby to what it is today.
Yeah, I started in 1986. I was a software. I followed my high school dreams and became a technology person and worked for Xerox for several years and had risen to management there. And Steve hired me in 1986 to basically automate and bring NFL Films up to the current times. They were probably 10 years behind the times as far as computers. They did nothing on the computer virtually. Everything was being done manually, from accounting to operations they were cutting film by hand with razor blades, putting television shows together. And he brought me in to do basically to build all their accounting software. I wrote all their accounting software, developed all their operations systems with computers, got the whole building computerized, built IT, into a real functioning department there. And from there, I really looked at everything that they were doing from a production standpoint. And fortunately for me and for Steve, and I think the company, he would say, he got me involved in the production side of things, engineering, broadcast engineering, production. And I really learned the whole business and was elemental in automating everything they do, building all their systems. And it was just a great career. None of it would have happened without Steve. Steve was kind of my mentor, taught me a lot of things about people and about managing people, running a company. Besides, I guess I taught him some things about technology. There are a lot of funny stories about that because he was very technology averse. But by the time we got to the late 1990s, he was really a believer in technology, and that helped me get a lot of things done there. So it was a great career.
Yeah. A lot of
worked 22 Super Bowls. Got to meet a lot of great people. including my wife, my father-in-law, but not the least.
That's it. Keep up the good work, buddy.
Got to work at 22 straight Super Bowls and build out the broadcast compound. People don't realize how big. I guess they have a feeling, but when you go see it, how big the broadcast environment is for the Super Bowl. And NFL Films has run the world telecast and all broadcast of the Super Bowl since about 1991, 92. I got involved in 95.
Wow.
And started to go. But NFL Films manages the world feed, all the domestic, international feeds, and when all the broadcasters. And to be a part of building that out every year and managing that for 22 years was an amazing experience.
Yeah.